Hello, my name is Galen Wei. I'm an environmental scientist working for the Department of Pesticide Regulation. I'm here to tell you how to use your at-home well testing kit to sample for pesticides. As outlined in the instruction kit, there are 6 specific steps you will need to follow to sample your well. Step 1. You want to make sure that we've included all of the materials that you're going to need to sample your well. Included are a plastic envelope with detailed instructions and a return label, packing material, a few pairs of nitrile gloves, absorbent pads, ice packs, an amber sampling bottle in a bubble wrap bag, and more ice packs, insulated material, and absorbent material. Additionally, you may have a disposable camera if you request one. Step 2 is to make sure that your ice packs are fully frozen a full 24 hours before sampling. We want to make sure the samples remain cold when shipping. Additionally, due to shipping times, we request that you do not sample on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or day before a holiday. The third step is to find and photograph the 6 things we need to see on the well information sheet: the well cap, the casing, the cement pad, the well tank, the surrounding soil, and the sample port. The sample port should be as close to the wellhead as possible. If possible, use a sample faucet before the tank. If your tank is a large unpressurized tank, then you must sample before the tank. After finding all these on your well, you will want to take photographs of them with either your camera or the provided one. We will go over how to send these pictures later in this presentation. Step 4. Filling out the well information sheet. The well information sheet can look intimidating at first, but it is relatively straightforward to fill out. Ignore the section at the top left-hand side of the sheet. Fill in the well user as your full legal first and last name, as well as the sampling address from where you took the sample. The well depth is the overall depth of the well and can be obtained from a well driller sheet if it is not known. The year drilled is when it was drilled. If you know any of the previous detections, then list them. The well type should be domestic, as it should be your well you use to get water from. However, if you use the well for multiple purposes, such as irrigation, list them as well. Examine the well casing to see what it is constructed of. If it looks plastic, it is likely PVC. If it is metal, then it is steel. If it seems to be made out of a different material, write down what you think it is. For the diameter, use a ruler, like the one included along the edge of the well information sheet, to measure across the full head of the casing. Next is to write down the casing and the cap condition. The casing refers to the tube coming out of the ground, whereas the cap is specifically the part at the top of it, and is usually bolted on. The cement pad is what the casing is attached to at its base, and while commonly cement, can sometimes be integrated into driveways and other fixed locations. Use a tape measure or the provided ruler to take the length and width of the pad along with its height from the ground. Surrounding areas also need to be documented. While cracks in the soil is self-explanatory, being depressed means that the wellhead is lower than the surrounding area, while bermed is the opposite and is raised. If you have a shed, document what it's made out of, what its condition is, and its dimensions. If you know your pump type, list it here. If not, skip this section. There should be a tank connected to the well. There are typically 3 tank types. The first is the large unpressurized tank. These are generally very large and green. The other 2 types are similar looking. The best way to differentiate them is by color. A fixed bladder, like the one seen here, is typically painted blue or white, The unpressurized tank is unpainted and is generally made of galvanized steel. To get the exact location of your well, please follow the included instructions, which give detailed instructions on how to acquire these numbers on an iOS or Android phone. When you take this reading, make sure you're standing right next to the wellhead. If you do not have an Android or Apple phone, you can skip this step, but please include a detailed sketch of where the well is on your property. You will see there is a space to fill in the time and sample date. You can fill these in now with the current time and date. At the bottom of the sheet is an area for you to make sketches of the well property. There are two boxes, one for the detail sketch and the other for the well site sketch. The detail sketch is where you will make a drawing of the picture of the wellhead, sample port, tank, pad, and anything unusual, such as cracks, holes, or pesticides stored nearby. The best way to do this is of a top-down view. If you have a shed, then note that, but don't have it obscure the plumbing. On the well site sketch area, you will notice that there is a little arrow in the lower right-hand corner which denotes the cardinal direction of north. In this box, you will draw a sketch of where the wellhead is in relation to other landmarks in the area. These can include, but are not limited to, buildings, roads, large natural landmarks, abandoned wells, pesticide storage and spraying equipment, and whatever else you think would be relevant. Like the detail sketch, draw it from a bird's eye view and try to estimate and write down the distances between landmarks. If you used a personal camera or phone-enabled camera to take photographs, you will need to email them to gwpp@cdpr.ca.gov. In the email, include your name, address, date and time from when the photos were captured, the sampling kit ID, which can be found on the label. Photos in the email should be sent before shipping the samples. Step 5. Taking the sample. You will need to prep the sample location. First, move the box, bottles, bubble wrap bags, gloves, and instructions as close to the well as possible, ideally in between the wellhead and tanks. Check to make sure that the sample port is free of all debris before sampling. Once you're sure of that, turn it on completely. While water is running from the sample port, thoroughly wash and dry your hands at another faucet, such as one inside the house. To purge the well and plumbing, you need to drain the water in it to fill with fresh water straight from the ground. To do this, run as many water faucets as possible until you hear the pump turn on. If you have a submersible pump, you will know the pump has turned on when you can hear a low humming sound, and if you touch the pipe where it is attached to the casing, you will feel vibrations. Once you hear or feel the pump activate, turn on a timer to start the 10-minute purge. Once 10 minutes have passed, you will be ready to sample. First, reduce the outflow to something manageable, like a small stream. Put on the included nitrile gloves. Once these are on, try not to touch anything that could be considered a contaminated surface, including pipes, the ground, or your clothes. Pick up one of the included plastic bottles and open it. Ensure not to touch the inside of it. When you put the cap down, do not put it on the ground. Fill the bottle a quarter of the way with water. Put the cap back on and shake it to condition the bottle before pouring the water back out. Now, fill the bottle completely. Fill it in a way that when you turn the bottle over, you don't hear the water swishing around. Use the cap as a device to top off the top of the water to fill completely. Once the bottle is full, place it in a bubble wrap bag, peel off the tab, and seal it. Then, put it in a styrofoam container. Repeat with all the bottles until they are all full and in the styrofoam container. When you are done filling the bottles, make sure to shut off all the water faucets that were turned on. Step 6. Packaging and returning the samples. While you are readying the insulated container, you can store the samples in a refrigerator. You are now ready to repackage your kit. First, you will take half of the absorbent pads and put them on the bottom. Next, you will take half of the included packing material and put that on top of the absorbent pads. Take 2 of the fully frozen ice packs and then put them in next. Get all of the sample bottles in the bubble wrap bags and put them on top of the fully frozen ice packs. Take the other 2 fully frozen ice packs and put them on next. Get the other half of the absorbent pads and then place them on top of the ice packs. Get the other packing material and put that on next. Finally, on top of all of it should be the well information sheet in the vinyl envelope. You may now place the lid on and seal the container. Put the included return label on the side of the box. You are now ready to ship it back to us. And that concludes our at-home well sampling instructional video.